Good evening, everybody. I'm Mr. Panda.
And I'm Rockstar.
And this is the Manly Battleships YouTube channel where we're hosting Last Week in Geek, the video podcast where we go over everything important that happened last week in Geek. Everything is canceled! Everything is canceled all the way through June! We're in a holding pattern for everything else from June forward. Currently, we're still going to Colossal Con, so don't jinx me here. I'm Rockstar, and I want to try the unbranded beverage that was purchased on my behalf. There you go.
Oh!
In a juicy juice world. It's 35% alcohol. It could not be used to sanitize surfaces, according to the CDC.
Oh, man.
Everclear, on the other hand, heading down to new media.
If you're having some cabin fever and you just need to do some exercise and really don't know how to make it creative and exciting at home, well, look no further than Pokemon Yoga. Yes, it's meant for kids, but this wouldn't be the first time adults go trying things that were meant for kids.
My little pony, my little pony.
If you're a fan of Rave Zero, you're in luck. Crunchyroll has announced that Season 2 will be coming out on the platform sometime this summer. Other than the trailer, though, we don't have a release date quite yet, but I'm sure it will probably be sooner rather than later, since everyone's super excited about making all this new digital content for your consumption, assuming your internet holds up.
Coming this July, Kinky Dungeon Master 3, is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon? Season 3 is coming.
It's always been wrong. It's always been wrong.
We have a new trailer for you, which apparently introduces a new female character. Way to go.
Just like Stay at Home Hub. On Twitter, a new teaser was dropped for another season of Castlevania. So we're up to Season 4 of Vampires, Monsters, and Demons, oh my.
What the fuck is toilet paper?
It's Chinese. Good morning, Judge.
Justin Roiland and Mike McMahon, a co-producer for Rick and Morty, have teamed together to create a new series for Hulu called Solar Opposites, which is basically just Rick and Morty on steroids.
Like the bastard child of Rick and Morty and Third Rock from the Sun. Man, that's a dated reference.
Yeah, I think you're going to need to speed up your references there.
How about Alf?
Any last meows? Huh? No? Then I'll see you in a few days.
We could do Alf.
That's the opposite way.
Alf was the superior show.
And it sounds like we'll be getting a whole first season on May 8th on Hulu, which makes it that Justin Roiland was able to not just do Rick and Morty, but actually his own show, get all of the first season out faster than we get the second half of Rick and Morty Season 4.
Well, that's because he wasn't weighed down by Dan Harmon.
That's horrible.
Literally and figuratively. Dan's
Horrible.
a big guy. I'm kidding. I love you, Dan Harmon. Please don't sue me.
Or us. I really like him. He's a nice guy.
Hey, can I get a cameo on your show if I make fun of you more? Clearly, Sony is convinced that they need their own version of Minions, because they've decided to continue making stuff from the Angry Birds franchise. A movie no one wanted, and I don't think anyone really expected to do as well as it did, and was actually okay. At least the first one was.
And then the sequel.
It seems like they want to take the same pathway as DreamWorks with How to Train Your Dragon, because they're not making another movie yet. They're making a 40-episode series, 11 minutes apiece, called Angry Birds Summer Madness. I can't imagine what that is, other than I'm sure that madness will be a literal representation of how angry Red gets all the time.
That and how angry parents will be when they have to watch an entire series of it. So that'll be coming to Netflix in 2021.
Hit the source list below for a Rick and Morty promo! Because they're really ramping it up, guys, to make you excited about the rest of the season coming soon. This one has Rick out as a samurai style fighting ninja Ricks. So you really got to check it out. It's everything a weeaboo could want.
If you haven't watched it yet, the Steven Universe Future finale is finally out. Get ready for all those feels. If you have feels, some of you might be angry. I'm going to say that right out there. Yep, Exactly.
They got a lot of villain silhouettes to cram into 4 episodes. I'm just gonna say that.
Oh yeah, and I already know. I've watched it, and you're gonna be unhappy, but I actually like the ending, and there's a whole article I won't spoil. Maybe later we can talk about why it ended the way it ended, because there's a whole article out on Polygon explaining why it ended the way it ended, and you'll be surprised who's at fault.
Since we've been slowly pushing the sketch videos towards Saturday, I guess that will be the Wednesday video. Don Bluth, celebrated American animator, has been working very hard in his near retirement to try to bring out a couple more things before he absolutely retires. And what's coming up now is a live-action version of Dragon's Lair. And it's not just Don Bluth attached to the project. Oh, no, 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 no. We're getting Ryan Reynolds, not only producing, but starring as Dirk the Daring. And this could be absolutely amazing, and we're going to hope that it's not another Green Lantern.
Ryan Reynolds has been hitting it out of the park. I don't know what you're talking about.
Except for that one where he was in a box the whole movie.
Oh, wait, I've watched this.
Oh, you
I
did?
watched this for one Halloween, and I was so disappointed.
Dude, it's such a bad movie.
Did you ever want to play as humanity in Plague Inc?
No.
Okay, thanks.
It sucks! We're doing it live! That's what we're doing! Why would I want to play a game version of that? What, when you get to real time, sit in a room with a mountain of toilet paper? That's the whole game! It's just a mod for The Sims!
I'm sure some people out there might want to play a different version where you're like one of the government or something. Endemic Creations is working with the World Health Organizations and other professionals to actually create such a game mode for us sitting in our homes during COVID. And you can actually, we have no date of when it's coming out, but you can get this new game mode for free as an update.
And in 2021, they will modify it with high scores, including China, Italy, Spain, and the United States. See if you can beat them.
Okay.
Sitting at home with the same board games day after day, and you're starting to run out of having fun with Monopoly. Yeah, getting Lord of the Flies up in here, I'll bet. That's okay. On itch.io.com, there is a new document called Board Game Remix that allows you to take commonplace board games and provide new rule sets for you to play different games using the same stuff that you already have on your shelf, forming entirely new games. So, for example, you could play poker with Monopoly property cards. And by the way, it is completely free. However, if you're on the website, you have the option to make a donation, and all those proceeds go to the World Health Organization's fund to fight COVID-19.
So fun and helping people. Meme of the week, meme of the week. This is where we tell you about the meme of the week.
If you can't beat them, join them, you know? This episode of the Meme of the Week is this piece from Harry Potter, making yet another coronavirus reference, because honestly, guys, we're probably just going to have a lot of coronavirus-related stuff in Meme of the Week for the foreseeable future. I hope you're as excited as the rest of us.
You know, we could do like a Billboard Top 100 and see what meme finally beats COVID and how long the weeks have been since we've had COVID memes.
Whenever episode falls on the day they declare an end to the national emergency, we'll do a top 100 COVID memes.
And now we're going to talk about all the news that happened last week. DC has finally given us a date for Wonder Woman to be released. They tentatively have it on August 24th right now. We'll see if people start rushing back out to the theaters or if we're in complete lockdown by that point.
Due to their inability to continue production, The Walking Dead Season 10 finale has been delayed indefinitely, like many other things.
Adding to The Walking Dead, Supergirl and Batwoman were also added to the delayed indefinitely due to production reasons, which comes now to a total of 4 DC productions that are being delayed, including The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow.
Walt Disney had been hopeful that their parks could reopen by the end of March. As you might imagine, we've come to that point, and they're not open. And they're not going to be open. Walt Disney has now clarified that they will remain closed indefinitely. And that could be quite a while, depending on how long this crisis continues.
Or Forward ever wants to close.
I guess as long as the beaches are open, you might as well just stay open.
Animal Crossing just released, and I know that all of you are playing it because it's completely unavoidable in my timeline. That being said, I'd like to give you guys a friendly PSA.
Don't use your time turner. You will create loops and destroy your game.
Mysterious thing, time. Powerful, and when meddled with, dangerous.
My PSA is actually in reference to your real-world Switch. Be careful with it. I mean, normally I would hope I wouldn't have to tell you just to be careful with it, but right now that warning comes with the caveat that all the Switch repair shops are closed. You won't be able to repair your Switch if something happens to it, so just be very mindful what happens to your Switch from now until, I don't know, indefinitely, like everything else.
You know, back in my day, the GameCube could survive a drop from waist height. In my day, we just blew in our cartridges.
Okay, Boomer. We used to stick it in our mouth anyway, so I have no
Don't
idea.
you put it in your mouth. Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you stuff it in your face. We just couldn't fit the old cartridges all the way in our mouth. It was just too big. Oh, Duck Hunt, you're so big! Civil liberties experts are very concerned about the Seattle police. Why are we covering this on Last Week in Geek? Well, it has to do with technology, ladies and gentlemen. The Seattle police have started using cell phone data to track down large groups of people who aren't supposed to be together. As you know, more than likely you are in a jurisdiction that has some kind of advisory or actual order against congregating in groups as small as 2, depending on where you are. So what's apparently happening is they're using cell phone tracking data to identify hotspots where a lot of people seem to be at one time where they probably shouldn't be. So it's not like apartment buildings. They're looking at like single buildings, areas of parks where there's just a lot of people. As of right now, the Seattle police are indicating they're not finding anyone over this, but they are trying to identify those hotspots and try to clear them out. The reason this has so many people concerned is because this is not the first time the Seattle police have gotten in trouble for using technology in enforcement. Back a couple years ago in 2016, they got into hot water for, according to this article at least, illegally obtaining tools to monitor social media posts in regards to enforcement. That's on Twitter, Facebook, and other places. This has been an ongoing struggle between privacy advocates and, the criminal justice system. And this is a time where, you might be tempted to think, yeah, it is important to break these groups up. However, perhaps you should also read into it and decide for yourself whether the Seattle police are once again potentially crossing a line somewhere.
Now, this isn't a fearmonger, but it is very notorious in America that times of crises or emergencies are typically used to, bend social liberties that will continue outside of those times of emergencies. So, while it might seem, this makes sense now, it's not always so clear-cut as to when police and law enforcement and government officials should stop bending.
Yeah, we got him. We found him. 8,000 furries in one building. Oh, let's get him, guys. It's a double coupon weekend. That's how you take down furry cons, ladies and gentlemen. Job well done, officer.
Or, they just do it themselves, like at FurFest.
I didn't say anything.
I'm sorry, I been delving into interesting convention history. April Fool's is very close and almost around the corner, but don't expect any levity from Google. They will not be performing their annual prank as tradition because they have better things to do, like trying to help out people doing COVID stuff.
They could have turned it into a pandemic page. We could
Nope.
play a little mini version of Pandemic 2. Google, the big G can be Madagascar. Or Greenland.
That's exactly what they're trying to avoid. They're trying to take this matter as seriously as possible, so they do not want to be joking about it.
Completely respectful, and yet we could all use a little bit more levity in our lives right now, I think. That's just my opinion.
That's why Gen Z and the millennials are here to make memes.
And bad TikToks. Speaking of Google, they have fallen behind Apple in at least one regard. That is in the disposition of the InfoWars app from the infamous online troll Alex Jones. Alex Jones has continued in his campaign of misinformation and very confusing, I guess, performance art, whatever the hell he's doing these days. But he managed to keep the version of his app up on the Google store until very recently. It had already been removed from the iPhone store, but due to the misinformation surrounding COVID-19 or coronavirus, it has now been taken off. Before that happened, it had already gotten 100,000 downloads. I guess you'll just have to keep going to the website to get your kicks for whatever the hell he's doing these days.
Or his fake coronavirus cures, which is one of the other reasons they took it down.
He has cures for coronavirus now? Damn, sign me up, son.
I assume it's his normal vitamin pill, but he's pushing it to say that it's
He has a vitamin pill too?
You don't know this? He has a whole bunch of supplements and vitamins and stuff that he's been peddling for years now.
Well, Rockstar, it sounds like you know a whole lot more about what Alex Jones is doing than I do.
I don't have his InfoWars app.
And now no one will. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are concluding this episode of Last Week in Geek, Manly Battleship's weekly video podcast where we go over all the important content for you, the viewer. If you are new to the channel, there's a subscribe button and a bell that you can ring to see all of our awesome videos whenever they may be posted, whether they're late or timely. Either way, you should keep coming back, and you should let your friends know to check us out. Feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts on any of the stories that we covered. And if you can't do that, at least come see us on the convention circuit whenever the hell that happens again. And as always, I'm Mr. Panda.
And I'm Rockstar. See you next week. And next we're going to talk about the news this week.
No, because this week is to come.
What? Last week's news?
That's what we're talking. That's the point of the show. You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I wasn't. Well, you are
I'm
expecting-
Rockstar and I know best. I'm gonna sit here and poke at you until you absolutely hate it for no reason because I said you were gonna hate it. I'm the Warlock. Sprite or something.
I wasn't that much.
We could put some Everclear.
No, don't fucking put Everclear in there. Here we're going to talk about all the fucking things that happened last week.
We'll just use that.